On this day 21 years ago, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. Tonight, the Midlands and the country continuing to honor the memory of those lost and the sacrifice of those who served on September 11th, 2001. Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 19. I'm Kaylin Hagwood, and we begin with an American tragedy, talking about 9/11. Many of us will remember the day vividly as 4 planes were hijacked in a coordinated attack on the U.S. 2 of those planes hitting the World Trade Center in New York City. A third hitting the Pentagon in Washington. The fourth crashing into an empty field in Pennsylvania after passengers fought back to gain control of the plane. Now, nearly 17,000 people were in the World Trade Center when the planes hit. Thousands lost their lives. Others still carry the wounds today as families around the country remain forever changed. Well, here in the Midlands, as people around the nation continue to remember 9/11, we were also reflecting on the lives lost that day. News 19's Zoe Henry has a look at the day of remembrance here in Columbia.
Things that happened in the past.
90302. United Flight 175 from Boston to Los Angeles crashes into the South Tower, killing all 65 passengers on board and countless others inside of the building.
21 years after the world stopped, sounds of pain, reflection, and sorrow still linger.
The theme of this day is education. Many of us have memories are refreshed or enhanced when we read books, watch movies, see photographs.
Governor McMaster and Irmo Fire Chief Mike Sonnefeld say that education is growing in importance.
We're getting into a time where kids weren't even born and during that time, so we got to be the ones to plant the tree.
But Don Yamashiro
I lost my brother in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
will never forget.
People who just went in to do their jobs did not come home. My brother was not a firefighter. He wasn't working for the police. He was at his desk doing his job, just like we all do.
Remembrance continued at Bible Way Church on Atlas Road.
We remember and pray for the widows, family members, and friends of those killed in the 9/11 attacks.
Churchgoers waved glimmers of hope in an attempt to return a duty to current first responders. 21 years later, 9/11 is less about remembering, but more about never forgetting.
I want people to know that they need to not have another one, because this was devastating to my family, and I don't want anyone else to have to go through this.
In Columbia, Zoe Henry, News 19, WLTX.
Well, in Washington, President Biden dedicated a wreath at the Pentagon in memory of those that we lost. The wreath ceremony was just one part of the memorial ceremony, including a moment of silence and reading of the names of those who died. Here's a bit of the president's remarks as he spoke to families and loved ones who lost their loved ones.
And I know for all those of you who've lost someone, 21 years is both a lifetime and no time at all. It's good to remember. These memories help us heal, but they can also open up the hurt and take us back to that moment when the grief was so raw. You think of everything they could have done if they had lived and just had a little more time.
Well, elsewhere in Pennsylvania, First Lady Jill Biden attended a remembrance ceremony to honor those lost and those who volunteered in the days following the attack.
Well, good Sunday evening, Midlands. I'm Chief Meteorologist Efren Afante. Corey Smith has the evening off. Temperatures weren't bad today. We start off a low of 72 degrees, end up with a high of 87. We still do have mostly cloudy skies over Williams-Brice Stadium, 76 degrees, and it is still quite humid out there. Now, our forecast for tonight, we may have some isolated showers in the next few hours. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy in the morning, a low of 72 degrees. We'll reach a high of 86, but as we get into the afternoon, we are expecting some scattered thunderstorms. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Kaylin?
Thank you so much, Chief. An inmate at a Columbia prison has died following a fight that happened yesterday. The State Department of Corrections says 36-year-old Jermaine Goss was killed after a fight with his cellmate at Broad River Correctional. Well, the department adds that Goss was hospitalized but later died of his injuries. Now, the State Department of Corrections, SLED, and the Richland County Coroner's Office are investigating that incident. In Richland County, the Sheriff's Department asking those with emergencies to call 911 directly after an issue with its in-house phone lines. The Sheriff's Department says its phones have stopped working this morning. It's unclear what caused that outage, but in the meantime, the department asking those with emergency calls to call 911 and with non-emergency calls to contact them at the 803 number you see there on your screen. Now, it is unclear when those issues will be resolved. We will, of course, give you that update whenever it becomes available. Let's talk a little money news now, as over the last few months we have been spotlighting how cities and towns are using their share of millions in federal coronavirus relief funds through the American Rescue Plan Act. And tonight we take a look at the Richland County town of Eastover as they work to finalize how they'll spend more than $300,000. Mildred McMillan has called Eastover home all her life.
It's just like a family over the whole town. Everybody getting along together.
A place where everyone knows your name.
It's a quiet town.
With fewer than 1,000 residents, Mayor Philip Gunter says.
Very small, very rural. We had everything when I was a little boy, you know, the video store, bank was there, then the little grocery store we had. So I just want to see those things come back to Eastover.
Roughly $330,000 in federal coronavirus relief funds are helping them move closer to that goal. Like many cities and towns, already the mayor says they've received half of their money.
It means a lot for the town. We really needed to uplift our water system for safer water for the community, also to help out with some of our infrastructure.
Helping to improve downtown businesses. He says they're petitioning the state for additional dollars and working to attract new shops.
So we need that grocery store. We need a laundromat. So those are the kind of things that I'm really trying to concentrate on. Painting of buildings and different things.
For McMillan, the money means a chance for better resources.
Just helping the town out so it can be just like, you know, some of the other places around here. That this town become a little more beautified than it is.
A step in the right direction.
They're trying to do the best that they can in this town anyway.
For the rural town, working to return to its roots. Well, keeping it in Lower Richland, DHEC is piloting a study there to strengthen the area's disaster response. It comes after the agency received a grant from the federal government for environmental justice projects that benefit communities of color. The $200,000 grant will go toward helping the neighborhood prepare to respond and recover from disasters like hurricanes, flooding, chemical releases, and pandemics. The study will take place November 4th and 5th in Lower Richland. Earlier today, the 10th annual Cuts for Gabby event was held, raising money and working to do good in the Richland 2 School District. News 19's Walker Lawson shows us how a haircut can change someone's future.
Dozens of people filled the chairs of the Ridgeview High School Master Care Barbershop Sunday afternoon for a fresh cut, not just for good looks, but to help raise money for the Gabby Swainson Scholarship. In August of 2012, 15-year-old Swainson was kidnapped and murdered. She attended Ridgeview High School, and now years later, they're continuing to keep her memory alive.
Cuts for Gabby fundraiser has been going on now. This is our 10th year in action to commemorate one of our lost students.
Carlos Howard is the barber instructor at Ridgeview High School, and while he didn't get to know Gabby, he spent his Sunday cutting hair alongside 9 other barbers for $5. The money raised is used to make sure a student from Ridgeview gets a chance to go to college. A student like Ashley Hubbard, who received last year's scholarship.
I was very grateful for it. I was very definitely blessed for it. Scholarship has definitely benefited me towards my annual tuition at the University of South Carolina. In fact, I decided to split this scholarship, one portion going towards my tuition directly, and the other towards the investment of my company as an upcoming entrepreneur.
Consider the rising cost of tuition and things like that. Scholarship money is always an awesome thing. And that's a great way to honor someone and to see that others have opportunities with that also.
While all the barbers spent 4 hours shaping and perfecting the cuts, Howard says those who want to help raise money still have time.
Supporting this fundraiser throughout the week by having services provided by our barbering program. So it's something that they can sign up for also as a continued effort to raise money.
In Columbia, I'm Walker Lawson, News 19 WLTX.
Well, we have more information on how you can help with that scholarship program on our website right now, WLTX.com. Let's take a look ahead now to tomorrow. We are so excited as the Jennifer Hudson Show will make its debut and start off with an American Idol reunion. Former judge Simon Cowell will be the very first guest on the show as Jennifer celebrates her 41st birthday during the premiere episode, and there is an all-star lineup of guests throughout the week, including Magic Johnson, Hannah Waddingham, and Viola Davis. Again, that is tomorrow at 4 right here on WLTX. You do not want to miss it. All right, still ahead, we are taking a look at your forecast. We have had some rain over the weekend. Will it continue into your work and school week? Chief Meteorologist Efren Afante back with that. And later in sports, a Panther loss at home against the Cleveland Browns, where quarterback Baker Mayfield made his debut. Sports Director Reggie Anderson has the highlights coming up next.